The past is the past, all because of the cross. And if you want to start a brand new future for yourself right now, I just want to remind you the phone number at the bottom of the screen throughout this hour are our prayer lines, and they will lead you to someone who would love to talk with you, listen to you, pray with you. So keep that in mind, in particularly this Easter season. Well, we want to open up our time together and simply talk about the reality of Christ in each of our lives and how he's been actively working on us this past year. Okay, girls, I've got all my Full Circle Sofa sisters with me today. Who wants to start off?
Well,
Moira, we're looking at you. All right.
And as you did this, I thought of one of the earliest messages on the cross I heard from Dr. Helen Roseveare. The cross crosses out the I. That's the only takeaway. It's a good one as we surrender to his plan and purpose for us. And you've probably heard it said that balance is the toughest thing to achieve in the Christian life. And I don't care how long you've known the Lord, I think it's a constant battle, especially in a world that seems to be upping its pace with every year. Well, at the end of 2008, I had a bit of a wake-up, a shake-up, a hold everything, and I decided to start my new year using some unused vacation days from 2008. And God was very much in my reprioritizing. And in that process gave me a gift, and my husband at the same time, which it makes it a double blessing. And that was to plant a real hunger, and of course the space to get started, to get back into the Word of God. Now, I've probably studied every book in this Bible. I'm sure I've read every verse. I'm not sure I've ever read it cover to cover. That's a terrible confession for knowing the Lord for 30 years. And we have just been, I can't encourage you more than to say there is something wonderful about reading this book in context, the big picture, and verses, of course, that you've read dozens of times have a fresh new meaning. You'll hear a verse you've known forever and you think, oh, is that said in that context? Well, that's very interesting. It's just a fresh discovery, and I'm sure it's no accident that the woman who gave me my very first Bible 31 years ago gave me this honking big new one at Christmas this year. So, Nell, thank you so much. And it's just been that fresh challenge from the Lord, and blessings innumerable.
So you read the whole Bible when you were off?
I'll tell you though, there's a contest going on here because Richard is over halfway through. He'll read it twice this year if he keeps up that pace. So even when he's away, he's emailing me and saying, what are you learning? What book are you in? Are you keeping up? So it's been a wonderful
challenge. I think there's something to be said for reading it cover to cover and getting through it in possibly a year, but there's also something to be said for slowing down and reading it, like you said, in context and absorbing the meaning, Moira. And so we commend you. You're I don't know, an inspiration to the rest of us.
Well, it didn't come from me, believe me. It was delivered
during your downtime.
Yeah, it's
which
amazing what happens when you be still for a little bit.
Maybe next time
God
we'll have
speaks.
memorization, Full Circle, our favorite memory words.
I won't be here for that.
Okay, but Maggie, you probably don't know, with a 2.5-year-old son, you probably don't know much about slowing down, do you?
Slowing down, what's that? Gosh, yeah, it's been go, 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 go. But I think the one thing that God's really been implanting in me throughout the year is just trying to figure out where I fit into his kingdom. You know, I know I'm a mom, I know I'm a wife, but where do I fit in the spectrum where God has planted me? And that's really been something he's been teaching me a lot about this past years. You know, I've been used to being at church and sitting in the four walls and doing my thing, but what am I doing for him? What am I doing for his kingdom? What am I doing to encourage people to know him and to love him? And so that's really been an ongoing thing. I haven't gotten there yet.
I was going to ask you.
I'll share the secret with you as soon as I get it.
Write a book, Maggie.
Yes, I will. But yeah, that's been something that I've really been working on. God's been working on.
You know,
is
it
figuring
might
that.
seem awkward for some of us who see your life and see the amazing reports that you produce of God at work
Yeah.
in the country of Canada, but you're talking about a more personal thing, aren't you?
Yeah, and seeing the fruit, you know, and feeling like when I'm away from this, that I'm still really being true to what He wants me to be, you know, that I'm not just sitting around and waiting for Him to do everything, but I'm actually being active. I'm being active in my community, being active in my church, being active with my friends. Community is a big issue right now, and trying to figure out where community sets into my life. So yeah, they're all issues that, you know, we're all working on. Yeah. How about you, Cheryl?
Everyone's looking at me, so it's my turn. You know what I've been thinking about, and I hope this is a concept I can explain well, but you know how we think, like, as we become Christians and as we grow, we got to get rid of some bad stuff in our life. The bad things about ourselves, we want God to change, and we want to be a better person. But I've been realizing this last year that I think I've known that, but new things in my life, and even good things in our life, in a sense, have to die in the way that we submit it to God. So the one I've been thinking about this year is loyalty, that I'm a hugely loyal person. And sometimes you can be loyal to people and things, even when God's saying, it's time to let that go, or that season's done, or that person in your life maybe isn't the best person anymore, you know. And I'm realizing that even those really great qualities where people would say, no, Cheryl's a great person, she's so loyal, that even loyalty has to bow the knee to what God is saying to you about your life. And the same thing with other qualities like compassion. You know, your compassion can make you help every person that needs help, and you can burn yourself out and neglect your own relationships or your time with God. Or so it's like everything good thing in me, even though it's good, is still part of, you know, just being human. And God, you have to submit that to God and say what you want me to do. I need to know, like what they said about Jesus was that He only did what He saw the Father doing. You know, and He didn't go heal every single person that was sick. He only healed the ones that God was showing Him to heal. And so I think in my life this year I've been really thinking about that, and even the things I thought were great, you know, have to say, like, God, I submit that to what you want in my life, and be in relationship with the people you want me to, and do what you want me to do, the career that you, not that I'm thinking of leaving, but
Glad to hear that.
but in every way, right? Even that stuff has to say, you have to say, I'm going to be obedient.
You know, I've heard it.
sensitive.
Go ahead, Moira.
Well, just a need doesn't constitute a call. And it troubles us that Jesus walked away sometimes from people who needed Him, whole towns that were waiting for
idea
Him.
of the nice Christian.
And if the enemy can't get you to overtly sin, he can just tie you up on your compassion button and just keep enough people traipsing across your path to completely tie you up and keep you from the one thing God may need you to be doing. So that's a really good lesson.
But is it hard to clean house? I mean, I'm the type of person too, because it's sort of that, you know, people pleaser, want to be loved by everybody, adored. No, I'm just saying. But I mean, it's that would be difficult. So how do you make those decisions?
You know what? I can be stubborn. A lot of people don't know this about me because I'm very laid back on the surface, but sometimes it just hit a moment where the stubbornness rises up, and sometimes God has to tell me like 6 different ways, seriously, like slap me upside the head this way, slap me, you know, maybe start gentle, but it does eventually sink in. Sometimes I need to hear it a few times or see it or learn a hard lesson about it and say, you know what, that person isn't good for me, and I need to start distancing myself, but He has to show me sometimes.
I've heard it